I'm in Valencia, Spain to drive the new version of Lamborghini's crazy Aventador. Now, it's called the Aventador S and it comes with even more power, 740 horsepower. But that's not the only upgrade. The big difference they've made is to the chassis. They've included a rear wheel steering system, and that, they say, makes it tremendous fun to drive. First up, a few hard laps of the Ricardo Tormo circuit. Now, this motorcycle racing circuit is tight, twisty and difficult for a big car like this. And though you can reach speeds of up to 250 kilometers an hour on the back straight, it's still not a track that's ideally suited to this car. Now I've got the Aventador on the track finally, and Lamborghini say there's a big difference between how this car drives and how the old car used to. It's much more agile, it's much better handling. Let's see. Of course, this is a 740 horsepower car, so it takes a bit of time to get to grips with it. Well, there are many levels to it. First, there's the obvious intimidation with that big heavy engine in the back. Then you get a sort of thrill from the acceleration. And then finally, you are really able to make out that this car is so much better tuned. It's so much more drivable. You can use so much more of that power, even on a long corner like this. It's absolutely amazing. They've done a super job with this. What makes all the difference is that this new S has an updated four-wheel drive split that sends up to 90% of the torque to the rear wheels. It gets a new central ECU that's faster to react, and even the aero performance is hugely improved. There's now up to 130% more downforce at certain speeds, and that's a huge amount. The biggest change, however, is the rear wheel steering system. In this, the rear wheels are steered in the direction of the corner at higher speeds and in the opposite direction at low speeds. There's a sort of secondary steering movement when you're in the corner, and then the car sits down and allows you to put down the power. Quite fantastic. What truly amazes me is just how neutral this car remains, even with all four tires howling in protest. You can make small corrections long after the rear of the car starts moving around. And yes, that's with a 355 section rear tire. It's also nowhere near as sudden as some Lambos in the past, especially if you're nice and smooth. And that dull understeer the earlier car had, where the front wheels lose grip first, well, that's well and truly gone. Of course, the greatest thing about this car is that big naturally aspirated V12, which has just got such a savage power delivery. Pulling out of this corner, you've got to wait. 9,000 RPM, doing 240 on the straight. My God, gotta feather it through here, make it up to that second gear, tight corner with a late apex. There she comes around the back slowly. Now I can add power. The on-track experience is so intense, I'm sort of in a daze. Driving a Lamborghini is always emotional, it always gets you right here. But the thing with this track is my throat has gone dry. I've been pushing this car so hard. It's just beads of sweat, dry throat, and it's 12 degrees outside. So you can guess the kind of experience this is. Fabulous. Once outside the track, I'm immediately reminded that this is one of the most extreme looking cars you can drive on a public road. The new S looks even more dramatic than the original Aventador. Yes, the earlier car looked a bit cleaner, but this one is stunning too. The new snake-like mouth, the cleaned up sides, and the stunning rear really do have the desired effect. I I don't quite like the vents over the rear wheel arches though. They are unnecessarily fussy, and those extra vents on top of the bonnet look out of place too. But if you want to stop people in their tracks, this still is the car to do it in. The new Aventador S is also a bit nicer to drive on regular roads. Out on the street, the Aventador S also rides much more comfortably. There's a bit more suppleness in the suspension, and although the short, hard springs are still there and you feel them as soon as you go over a slightly larger bump, it does have a bit more comfort to it. And that's all because there's a new Magna ride system that softens the dampers. The Aventador S will also come with a lift system that in India will help you get over some of our really bad speed breakers. And the agility is also so much nicer at lower speeds. Where the earlier car was quite ponderous, this one just isn't. Turn into a corner and it's more willing to go in. It's more willing to turn in sharply, it's more willing to give you the apex, and you don't need to push the steering as much to get to the line you want to drive. The massive speed blur, that fast forwarding sensation, the serious disorientation, your brain having to catch up, yeah, they're all there on this mounted road too, especially when I put my foot down. The Aventador S in fact has so much power, I only get to use full throttle for a couple of seconds at a time on this road, and that's on the straight bits. Full throttle coming out of corners? Forget it. Though I have to say, driving this new Lambo is now less about being a matador and more about, well, driving the bull. It's a huge step forward. Still, there are a few areas where the car needs improvement. At lower speeds, when you're on and off the throttle, there's a bit of jerkiness like the old car, and that still remains. But of course, you want to get rid of it, all you have to do is click a few gears down and plant the throttle. God, this is probably one of the best V12s ever. Something that still plagues this car, especially at low speeds, is a single clutch gearbox. It makes driving the car a bit jerky, it is a bit snatchy, and of course in traffic you do have a bit of an issue with that. There's no smoothness like on a regular DSG or even a torque converter gearbox, and when you're in traffic, when you're behind people, you do miss that. Another area that hasn't improved too much is the steering. It still feels numb, it still feels a bit dead, and that's something Lamborghini could have improved. Lamborghini's Aventador always had a crazy amount of performance. 700 horsepower, the grip of the four-wheel drive system, the lightweight carbon fiber chassis, it had it all. Tremendous straight line performance, but it wasn't fun to drive in corners. Now with the Aventador S, Lamborghini has taken it to the next level. The new rear-wheel steering system is fantastic. It gives you so much agility. The car is much nicer in corners. It's an absolute treat to drive out of them, to power out with the 700 horsepower, and that makes it a much more complete supercar. If you have both 5 crores and the desire to drive one of the fastest, most dramatic supercars ever, the new Aventador S is the car for you.